Right, welcome back. And to highlight the issue or the prospects of future relations between Egypt and Britain, and of course, as we offer our condolences to the British people for the death of Queen Elizabeth II, and to highlight the issue we have with us over the phone, former Foreign Minister, Ambassador Mohamed Oraby. Your Excellency, good evening to you.
Hi, good evening.
We're speaking here about first the death of Queen Elizabeth II, which was attended, or the funeral today was attended by a number of heads of states and governments. Let me first take your impression about this great funeral that we have been following during the whole day.
I think, it is an unprecedented event because for the last 70 years or more than that, we didn't witness such a funeral for a queen or a king from UK. But I think today the funeral it was magnified the weight of the UK in the world and its historical influence all over the world, and not just the Commonwealth countries, but many other countries. And I think 200 dignitaries were there to pay their respect to the late Queen and to the British, of course, people and the new king. So I think the funeral and the organization, it was really an event, and for maybe the first time it was even televised by the CNN, BBC, many other TV channels also. So it was an important and worldwide event, and I think it was watched by, I don't know the number, but at least I think everybody was following the last 10 days in UK with all the processes and all the steps which occurred there. And I think the UK represents a very good image during this funeral. But as I know that it was very costly also. And the UK has, or let us say, suffering from the economic crisis, as most of the countries in the world. So, but anyway, it represents the weight of the UK and its role worldwide, and the influence of the Great Britain historically and even now.
Very much indeed. The whole world have been following up with the funeral of today, and even the Egyptian channels broadcasted the funeral at large. If we get back to relations between Egypt and Britain, and yesterday the Prime Minister participated in a banquet ceremony that was held by King Charles II for the heads of states and governments who were to attend the funeral of today, and the Prime Minister held talks with King Charles and the new Prime Minister, who both praised the pivotal role played by Egypt and the keenness of their country to boost relations between both countries. I guess that President Sisi also has on Saturday called the king, and they exchanged. Of course, the president offered his condolences and for the king for a prosperous reign. And from your point of view, at the backdrop of all the circumstances that are occurring in the whole world, how do you view the prospects of relations and cooperation at this upcoming stage between Egypt and Britain?
I can say that, it is a new era in Britain. We have a new lady Prime Minister and a new king. The new king actually has a special relationship with Egypt. He's always visiting Egypt, and he respects the Egyptian role in the region. He respects even our religion, Islam, and he is so attached to the pharaonic culture and civilizations. So the man, I think, he is viewing Egypt as an important country, playing an important role, has a sort of cultural influence all over the world. So I think he really appreciates our weight, and I can claim that we have a special status, in his mind to Egypt. The new prime minister, I think it is the effective, let's say, role, because the king, he is not the man, or he is not the authority to change policies or even to chart policies. So the new prime minister, she was the foreign minister before. I think she met with our foreign minister, even President Sisi also, in maybe one occasion also. So we still, and she was, of course, occupied by the funeral and all the processes and the meetings with the leaders. So we have to wait a little bit till we can detect what kind of changes in the policy of the UK towards Egypt. But I can claim and expect even that there's no drastic changes in the relationship between the two countries. Egypt is, as you just mentioned, playing a pivotal role in the Middle East. Egypt is the stability of the region. Egypt is the peace for the region also, and development. So I think nobody can even ignore, the weight of Egypt recently. And so I guess it will be the same policies, and we will maybe have more progress because Egypt now is playing also an important role concerning the energy security. So I think everybody is looking to Egypt now. As you just mentioned, also we are the key for stability in the region and playing an important role in different chronic issues prevailing now in our region. So nobody can ignore Egypt or even try to put a sort of pressure on Egyptian diplomacy or the Egyptian role.
Your Excellency, here Britain is one of the largest countries who are investing in Egypt, and that in various sectors, the financial, the energy, the construction, tourism, pharmaceutical, energy, textile, communication, all fields. From your point of view, and as we've seen yesterday, the new Prime Minister, Mrs. Liz Truss, told our Prime Minister or emphasized the keenness of her country to boost relations on all spheres with Egypt at this upcoming stage. We're not speaking now about Britain with Egypt only, but also the prospects and the horizons Egypt opens for Britain and Europe at large, in Egypt and the whole Middle East.
There is a new, I would say, recalibrating for the international relationship after this war in Ukraine. And many things will change during the coming winter. And the prospects of having good relation between the two countries is very high. And I think even the new foreign minister, Great Britain, I think he was so close to the Egyptian diplomacy also before that, because he was the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, and he was in charge of Egypt and the Middle East. So we have a lot of good potentials actually for the near future to promote our relationship with England or the UK. And as you just mentioned, the new circumstances in the world actually puts a lot of weight for the Middle East, as we are the source of energy now. If you talk about oil or natural gas or electricity even, I think we are the hub for all these things for Europe. So there is a new, as I said, recalibration for the whole international relationship, and that's why we should expect that a lot of people, a lot of countries will try to boost their relationship with Egypt in the near future. As you know, today we just have the defense minister of India, which is never happened before. So I think Egypt now has a lot of potentials, and everybody is trying to cement the relationship with Egypt because, as we just mentioned, also we are playing important role in Africa, in the Mediterranean, in the Arab world. So let us say that our central diplomacy and our active diplomacy, I think it gives us a lot of potentials, and it will be one of the instruments which we will use in the near future.
Your Excellency, finally here, Egypt attaches a great importance for the file of climate change. Yeah. And it will be hosting COP27 in November. How do you view the important role the British leadership could be playing in this file and in trying to emphasize the importance of this file worldwide at this upcoming conference, or much anticipated conference?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, it is a very important file, and it will have a tremendous effects on the whole world, not just one country or a region or so. And we should not forget that Glasgow was the previous summit, and Sharm el-Sheikh is the following summit, and we have a responsibility to urge everybody to implement all the pledges and all the promises which they took in Glasgow. And so there is a sort of continuation, and that's why I think Britain also would be keen to have a successful meetings here in Sharm el-Sheikh in order to implement all the commitments coming from Glasgow meetings. And of course, this will be, or let us say, it will pave the way also for another summit next year in Abu Dhabi for the same crisis or the same problem. So there is a sort of continuation and a sort of follow-up for the results of each summit, and that's why we should be keen to have a cooperation with Britain, and after that with Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, because they will host the next meetings. So we are working together, and we are working together very hard also in order to save the planet. And I think this is a responsibility for everybody, not just Egypt.
Right. Your Excellency, former Foreign Minister, Ambassador Mohamed Oraby, we thank you so much for being with us and for your input here. And now we move on to our second segment, and the global challenges require accelerating Arab economic integration, according to the President Sisi, to the ALO conference that was held here in Egypt. Let's watch.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has stressed that ongoing global developments and challenges require the Arab world to accelerate towards achieving Arab economic integration and activating joint Arab work. Minister of Manpower Hassan Shahata delivered the remarks on behalf of President al-Sisi on Sunday in a speech during the 48th session of the Arab Labour Conference organized by the Arab Labour Organization in Egypt, with the attendance of labour ministers and representatives of trade unions from 21 Arab countries. The conference kicked off on Sunday in Cairo under the chairmanship of Morocco and the auspices of President al-Sisi. It is running until September 25th. In his remarks, President al-Sisi said that the Egyptian government will continue to support Arab national interests and renounce disputes that are plotted to obliterate the Arab identity. The President reiterated that Egypt will always act towards a comprehensive settlement to all problems facing the Arab world, particularly the Palestinian cause. In his statement by the Manpower Minister, the head of state affirmed that global developments require the Arabs, who are also witnessing political, economic and social challenges, to prioritize joint Arab work. The President also called for a realistic assessment of all global changes and pressed for quick action to achieve Arab economic integration. The President urged Arab countries to march towards unity in order to achieve development, knowledge, creativity and innovation. He also called for taking the initiative to block the endeavors of those tampering with Arab capabilities. President Sisi affirmed that this can be achieved by setting realistic and achievable goals in accordance with specific and clear timetables.